So I've recently played all of these loner decks over the past couple days, so I feel like I can give a decent opinion on which one you would want to claim at the very end of your 7 day journey. As you can see, mine is coming to an end with only 2 hours and 9 minutes left. So I need to figure out today which one I want to claim. So I'm going to be doing that today, but also go through reasons why I'm not claiming the other five. So I'm going to start with the deck that I would claim the least, and that would be Ramp Under the Stars Druid. I had a terrible run with this deck. I think I was 1-6 after playing it, and I think I am officially done with the Druid archetype for the next few months. It just feels like this deck is just not built as well as the other ones. If you look at recent Ramp Druid on AHS Replay and other deck sites, you will see that they are running Dorian, Puppet Master Dorian, but with the Oaken Summons package instead. And by Oaken Summons package, I mean they're just not running other minions that cost 4 or less. That way you can consistently pull out Puppet Master Dorian and draw it into your late game threats. What this deck does, on the other hand, is it goes more for the dragon package. So the Splish Splash Whelp, which is an amazing card. Don't get me wrong. Um, Desert Nest Matron, also fantastic. Chia Drake, pretty good. Um, this guy, though, the Gift Wrapped Whelp, good for controlling the early game, I'll say, but not good enough to sacrifice, I think, the overall quality of the deck. So I think because this deck is more geared towards that dragon package, it is overall weaker than what the stock ramp druid looks like right now. So personally, not a big fan of this deck. Performed pretty poor for me. So wouldn't go for ramp under the stars druid. The next one I would say is on the chopping block would be Fearless Pirates. This one actually performed very well for me. The only reason I'm not recommending it is because of its dust value. I think this one is at 7,000 dust value, while the deck that is worth the most is 17,000. So big dust disparity. And when you're a new player, you definitely want to maximize the dust. So for that reason, can't really recommend um, Fearless Pirates, Pirate Demon Hunter, even though it performed fantastic for me. I also open this legendary right here, so another reason I can't claim it. But overall, I would say not to claim this one either. Next one that I would not recommend would be Nostalgic Evolution Evolve Shaman. This one, kind of a similar situation as Pirate Demon Hunter, did a great job for me. It's very aggressive and it beat up my opponents very well. I was actually pretty lucky with this deck. Not lucky, very skilled, I should say, because Hearthstone is a game about skill instead of luck. There's actually no random elements, especially with the Evolve archetype. But I would say I would not recommend crafting this one for similar reasons. It's a lot of it is pretty easy to craft, and it's just low dust value. All these come with Ziliax, which is great. So if you do like one of these decks and you want to build towards another one, you do at least have some similarities with Ziliax being in literally all of them. And I think it does share some other overlap like Gorgonzomu, but this is a free legendary, so that's irrelevant. Anyway, low dust value, pretty strong deck. If you like the playstyle, go ahead and claim this one, but I don't think I'm going to claim this one. The next two is really a coin toss for me because I like both their playstyles, but I'm a little bit more partial to one of them. So I'm going to say the next one, the chopping block, is Virtues of Hand Buff. Hand Buff Paladin. This one performed very well, going bigger than all my opponents, except for one pesky hand buff rogue. I'm still having nightmares about that loss. But this one performed very well for me. These two tech pieces of Razor Scale and Customs Enforcers was a big thorn in the side of my opponents, and just going really large and buffing up Salcy deckhands and Leroy's was very fun. Winning in one turn is always a great time. It's worth quite a bit of dust, but I think I prefer the play pattern of double rainbow Death Knight a little more. It's a little bit more on the mid range side, a little bit more controlling. So the late game is a little bit more fun, I would say. Virtues of hand buff, once you've kind of exhausted all your hand buff minions, you're kind of just stranded. Um, with how many control warriors are out there, Virtues of hand buff has a difficult time getting through all that armor and all that removal, while I found the double rainbow um, Death Knight to be a little bit more resilient to how much removal I saw out there through the help of Razzle Dazzler, but more so on Horizon's Edge. This is definitely the card that surprised me the most about this deck. This just outputs so much damage. But there's one deck remaining, and the deck that I unfortunately do recommend, it's Highlander Control. Reno, here he is, Reno Warrior. The reason I say unfortunately is because a lot of people find this playstyle a little boring. Um, I honestly, after playing it, after being on the other side of playing Reno Warrior, I do feel gross saying that I do enjoy playing this style of deck. Just being able to have such a larger late game with the use of Deep Miner Bran and Boom Boss Thogrun, just this combination of cards makes any late game super simple. I faced a couple ramp druids in my few plays with this deck, and they just can't compete with this combination and just the mountain of removal: Shield Slam, Blade Storm, Brawl, Garrosh's Gift getting a second Brawl. Just all that removal just is would clean up my Fearless Pirates opponents very easily. And on top of all that removal and phenomenal late game, you do have some tools to get out some additional value, like All You Can Eat and Shield Block. And if you're in a pinch, Garrosh's Gift is just such a flexible card. You can get Shield Block off of that as well. So for that reason, I would say I am partial to Highlander Control Warrior. And on top of that play style, it's just worth the most. This one is the one that's worth 17,000 dust. So for that reason alone, I would say for new players who want to have the most in their collection, to have the most dust value, Highlander Control is the way to go. But of course, if through your catch-up packs and your free packs, you open a free, let's say you open Deep Miner Bran, a Boom Boss Throw Grun, it may be worth exploring some other options, probably Double Rainbow or Virtues of Handbuff, because I believe those are the two next most valuable ones. Or if you just straight up just don't enjoy the controlling nature of this deck, I can definitely see not wanting to claim this one at the very end. But for my sake, I like the play style. I'm missing a lot of cards in this deck. On my new account, I think I am gonna go ahead and claim our Highlander Control Warrior. And with that, I think that concludes our look at these loner decks. I'm not sure how long Blizzard's going to take to come out with the next ones, but if you enjoyed this series, please let me know if you want to check out the next ones, and I can run through those loner decks as well, if and when they come out with the next set that's coming out in November 5th. Anyway, that's all I have for today. If you enjoyed this kind of style of wrap up of the loner decks, please consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next video.